What if I told you there's a place on Earth where compasses spin wildly, radio signals mysteriously vanish, and the sky seems to rain meteorites from space? A place so strange that locals whisper about UFO encounters and scientists scratch their heads trying to explain the impossible? Venture deep into the northern deserts of Mexico, and you will find La Zona del Silencio, the Zone of Silence. It is a 50-kilometer stretch that has earned the moniker Mexico's Bermuda Triangle. Be warned, what happens on this land is stranger than fiction. Right now, we are stepping into the unknown at one of the most mysterious locations on the planet. We'll explore the bizarre events that put this place on the map, examine the scientific theories that try to explain them, and hear the legends that continue to haunt this desert. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this remote patch of Mexican desert has captured the imagination of UFO hunters, scientists, and adventurers from around the world. So buckle up, because we're about to enter the Zone of Silence. First, let's talk about where this mysterious zone actually is. The Zone of Silence sits in the Mapimí Desert, spanning the borders of 3 Mexican states: Durango, Coahuila, and Chihuahua. It's located approximately 400 miles south of El Paso, Texas, right in the heart of Mexico's northern desert region. And here's something fascinating. Geographically, it lies almost exactly on the same latitude as other mysterious locations: the Bermuda Triangle, the Egyptian pyramids, and the sacred sites of Tibet. Coincidence? Maybe. But it certainly adds to the intrigue. The landscape itself is harsh and unforgiving. Picture endless stretches of sandy desert, scattered with scrub brush, cacti, and hardy desert plants. The climate is extremely arid, with scorching temperatures during the day and surprisingly cold nights. Rainfall is rare, making this one of the driest regions in North America. This isolation is crucial to understanding the zone's mystique. There are no cities here, no cell phone towers, limited infrastructure, just raw, untamed desert. And it's precisely this remoteness that makes the phenomena reported here so difficult to verify and so easy to mythologize. So when did the world first learn about the Zone of Silence? The story begins in the 1930s and 1940s when Mexican pilots first reported unusual radio interference when flying over this region. But it wasn't until the 1950s that Mexican scientists started seriously investigating these claims. The zone truly captured international attention in 1970, and here's where things get really interesting. On July 11, 1970, the United States Air Force launched an Athena test rocket from the Green River Missile Base in Utah. The rocket was supposed to land at White Sands, New Mexico. Instead, something went terribly wrong. The rocket inexplicably veered off course and crashed, you guessed it, right in the heart of what would become known as the Zone of Silence. The U.S. military scrambled to recover the rocket, which was carrying 2 small containers of cobalt-57, a radioactive substance. They built a temporary road into the desert, and the recovery operation took weeks. But here's the kicker. During the entire operation, team members reported consistent radio failures, magnetic anomalies, and communication blackouts. After this incident, American scientist Harry de la Pena and Mexican researchers began extensive studies of the area. And that's when the name stuck, La Zona del Silencio, the Zone of Silence, because radio signals seemed to simply disappear. Now, let's get to the really weird stuff. What exactly happens in the Zone of Silence? First and foremost, there are the communication failures. Visitors and researchers consistently report that radio signals, walkie-talkies, and even compasses behave erratically or stop working altogether. Imagine driving into the desert, and suddenly your car radio goes silent. Your GPS stops responding. Your compass needle spins aimlessly. That's what people claim happens here. But perhaps the strangest documented phenomenon is the meteorites. The Zone of Silence experiences an unusually high concentration of meteorite falls. We're not just talking about occasional space rocks. This area seems to attract them like a cosmic magnet. Some of these meteorites contain rare minerals and isotopes not commonly found elsewhere on Earth. In fact, the zone sits above a geological formation rich in magnetite and other magnetic minerals, which some theorize could attract metallic meteorites. And then there are the UFO sightings. Local ranchers and visitors have reported seeing strange lights in the night sky, objects hovering silently over the desert, and even alleged encounters with unusual beings. One famous story involves a local rancher family who claimed that three tall, blonde, humanoid figures appeared at their ranch asking for water, then vanished without a trace. Now, I'm not saying it's aliens, but that's what people are saying. Even the local wildlife seems different. Scientists have documented unusual adaptations in desert plants and animals. Some cacti species here grow larger and mutate more frequently than their counterparts elsewhere. Desert tortoises in the region show unexpected color variations. Whether this is due to the mineral content in the soil, residual radiation from meteorites, or something else entirely remains debated. The indigenous peoples of the region have their own stories. Ancient legends speak of a land where the gods descended from the sky, and a place where the earth speaks to the heavens. These oral traditions existed long before modern science arrived with its instruments and theories. All right, let's pump the brakes on the paranormal train for a moment and talk science. Because as mysterious as the Zone of Silence seems, there are rational explanations for many of these phenomena. The primary scientific explanation involves the geology beneath the zone. The area sits atop a massive deposit of magnetite and other iron-rich minerals. These deposits create local magnetic anomalies that can indeed interfere with compass readings and, potentially, radio transmissions on certain frequencies. Think of it like this. Magnetic fields can deflect electromagnetic waves, and if those fields are strong enough or configured in specific ways, they could create dead zones for radio communication. As for the meteorite concentration, scientists point to the same magnetic properties. Metallic meteorites, which contain iron and nickel, could theoretically be drawn slightly toward areas with strong magnetic fields during their descent. While Earth's gravity is the primary force, magnetic attraction might subtly influence the final landing zone. Additionally, the Zone of Silence lies in a basin, a natural bowl in the landscape, which some scientists argue makes meteorite impacts more noticeable and easier to find compared to surrounding terrain. Here's where skeptics really dig in. Modern tests using contemporary radio equipment have shown that while some interference occurs, it's not consistent and certainly not total. Cell phones and satellite communications often work fine in the zone. The silence appears to affect primarily certain AM/FM radio frequencies, which are more susceptible to geological interference. Some researchers believe the Zone of Silence phenomenon has been significantly exaggerated, fueled by the rocket crash incident, local tourism interests, and our human love of mystery. What about the unusual plant and animal adaptations? Scientists point to the area's unique mineral composition, including traces of uranium and other radioactive elements from meteorite impacts over millennia. This low-level radiation, combined with extreme environmental conditions, could drive unusual evolutionary adaptations. So what's the scientific consensus? Most researchers agree. Yes, the zone has unusual geological properties. Yes, magnetic anomalies exist. Yes, it attracts more meteorites than average. But no, it's not a paranormal vortex or alien landing pad. It's geology, magnetism, and a healthy dose of human imagination. But does that explain everything? Well, that's for you to decide. Despite, or perhaps because of the scientific skepticism, the Zone of Silence has become a surprising tourist destination. Every year, thousands of visitors make the trek into this remote desert. UFO enthusiasts come hoping to witness unexplained phenomena. Amateur scientists arrive with metal detectors and Geiger counters, searching for meteorite fragments. Adventurers simply want to experience the mystique for themselves. The small nearby towns, particularly Sabalos and the Ejido communities around the zone, have built a modest tourism economy around the mystery. You can find local guides offering tours, small museums displaying meteorite fragments and local folklore, and souvenir shops selling everything from "I Survived the Zone of Silence" t-shirts to polished meteorite jewelry. There's even a small research station, the Mapimi Biosphere Reserve Research Center, where scientists continue studying the area's unique ecosystem and geological properties. But here's an important warning. This is still a harsh, remote desert. Summer temperatures can exceed 110 degrees Fahrenheit 43 degrees Celsius. There are no services, no gas stations, no cell phone coverage over large areas. Visitors need to come prepared with plenty of water, fuel, proper navigation equipment, and ideally, a local guide. People have gotten lost or stranded in this desert, and rescue can take days. If you're planning a visit, go with a reputable tour operator, tell someone your plans, and respect the environment. This is a protected biosphere reserve, home to unique species and fragile desert ecosystems. So there you have it, the Zone of Silence, a place where science and mystery collide in the Mexican desert. Is it a geological anomaly with magnetic properties that create unusual phenomena? Almost certainly. Is it a hotspot for meteorite activity due to its basin geography and magnetic deposits? Quite possibly. Have the legends and mysteries been exaggerated over the decades? Probably. But does that make it any less fascinating? Absolutely not. Because here's the thing. Whether you believe in the paranormal aspects or stick purely to scientific explanations, the Zone of Silence represents something important. Our endless human curiosity about the unexplained. It reminds us that even in our modern mapped and GPS-tracked world, there are still places that make us wonder, that challenge our assumptions, and that invite us to keep exploring. The Zone of Silence remains one of Mexico's most intriguing enigmas, a place where reality and legend blur in the shimmering desert heat. What do you think? Is it science, mystery, or something in between? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations of the world's most mysterious places. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring. And remember, sometimes the best discoveries happen when we venture into the silence.